For week 7, we will be discussing probability of a union of two events. But before that, let's first have a brief review about the union of two or more sets. So when we say the union of two or more sets, it is the set that contains all the elements of each of the sets. We will be using this symbol, which is read as union. For instance, we have set A and set B. Set A contains the elements 1, 3, 5, and 7. Set B contains the elements 1, 2, 4, and 6. Let's find the union of the two sets. For you to find the union of the two sets, just simply list the elements that are in either or both sets. So, the union of set A and set B contains the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Remember that if an element is repeated, you just have to list it once. If one is repeated, write it down once. Now, in illustrating union of sets, we will be using Venn diagram. Venn diagram is an illustration that uses circles to show the relationships among things or finite group of things. Let's illustrate set A and set B using circles. So, set A contains the elements 1, 5, 7, and 3. Set B contains the elements 6, 2, 4, and 1. Now, we have to illustrate this in a Venn diagram in such a way that set A and set B will have a common relationship in which they have 1 as their common element. So, combining the two, they will overlap and their common element or the intersection is located in the middle. Okay? Now, combining the union of these two, you just simply need to combine all the elements, provided if one is repeated, you have to write it down once. So, therefore, this is what we call union of A and B, which contains the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, let's discuss the probability of a union of two events. The chance of any one or more of two or more events occurring is called the union of the events. So, the union of events A and B is the event that either A or B or both occurs. We use this following notation. We have using the symbol for union, which is read in two ways, either A union B, or the union of A and B, or A or B. Now, A or B in probability, it is commonly used, which means A or B or both. Now, remember that this is the illustration of a union of two events in Venn diagram. Another thing, A or B and B or A are just the same event. So, you may write down A or B or B or A. Either way, they have the same result. The probability of a union of two events can be found with the addition rule, given this working equation, which is read as the probability of the union of A and B is the sum of the individual probabilities minus the probability of the intersection. Now, take note of this working equation. Now, let's have an example. First example, suppose that you spun the spinner on the right. What is the probability of spinning an orange or spinning a letter B? Now, first things first, you have to analyze the problem. We are looking for the probability of spinning an orange, which will be our first event, which will set as A, and spinning a B, which we are going to set as event B or the second event. Now, if we will be writing down all the given, using the figure, we have three oranges. A, B, A are orange. Letter B, we have 1, 2, the red one and the orange one, we have 2. In the sample space, when we say sample space, these are the total number of events that we are dealing with. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, the sample space is 6. Now, next, remember the word or in probability means union. So, the unknown will be the probability of the union of set A and B. Okay? Next, given the working equation, let's first find the probability of getting an orange. So if we have orange, that is the number of occurrence over number of sample space for you to get the probability of getting an orange. So getting an orange will be 3 over 6, which is the total number of sample space. So that is the probability of getting an orange. Next, getting a B, we have in the given, B is 2, and the total number space, or sample space, should I say, is 6. So that is 2 over 6. That is now the probability of spinning a B. Next, what is now the probability of the intersection of A and B? That means both A and B have this in common. Now, observe the spinner. If you have orange, A, B, A, and in B, we have B and B, what is their common? So, in orange and B, their common is letter B, in which we will going to write it down once lang. So, that is the probability of the intersection of A and B is 1 over 6. Now, if we will be illustrating this in Venn diagram, so we have oranges, which contains the elements A, B, A, and we have another set, which contains letter B's, and their intersection will be at the middle, which is equal to letter B. Ilan yung B? Isa lang, so that is 1 over 6. Now, next, solving it, substituting every formula, we will now have 3 over 6 plus 2 over 6 quantity minus 1 over 6. Now, 3 plus 2, that is 5, minus 1, that is 4. Therefore, the probability of the union of A and B is equal to 4 over 6. Now, remember that your final answer should be in simplified form. So, 4 over 6 have a common factor, which is 2. So, 4 divided by 2, that is 2. 6 divided by 2, that is 3. So, therefore, the probability of spinning an orange or spinning a B is 2 over 3. So, that's how you answer example number 1. Now, there's another way on how we solve number 1 easily. Say, getting the answer using the illustration itself. So, what is the probability of spinning an orange or spinning a B? By just looking at the spinner. Remember that we're looking for the orange or a letter B. So, by counting, we have 1, 2, 3 oranges and 1 B, 4. So, that is equal to the number of ways the event can occur over the number of possible outcomes, which is equal to 4 over 6. So, and 4 over 6 is simply 2/3. So, therefore, the probability of spinning an orange or spinning a B is 2/3. So, that's how you solve example number 1 in the simplest way. Second example, suppose that in your class of 30 students, 8 students are in band, 15 students play a sport, and 5 students are both in band and play a sport. Create a Venn diagram that models this situation, then answer the following. Number 1, what is the probability that the students are in a band? Number 2, what is the probability that the students play a sport? Number 3, what is the probability that a student is in a band or plays a sport or both? So, before answering the questions, let's first analyze the problem for us to find clues. Okay? So, the first clue here is your class of 30 students, which indicates the sample space. So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng probability nyo, dapat ang denominator niya ay 30. So, given the event, over 30. Yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Next, 8 students are in band. So, let's set this as our first event. Event A. And then, 15 students play a sport, which will be our second event, represented by B. And 5 students are both in band and play a sport. Take note of the word both. Ibig sabihin, nasa band siya at saka naglalaro siya ng sport. Which means this 5 students signifies the intersection. So, kapag nag-drawing tayo ng Venn diagram, mauuna yung 5 sa gitna. Okay? Now, using this, let us now solve the first question. What is the probability that the students are in a band? So, In a band, there are 8 students. Okay? For you to get the probability of that, just simply write down the number of occurrence, which is 8, over the total number of sample space, which is 30. So, the answer for number 1 is 8 over 30. Now, next, for number 2, what is the probability that the students play a sport? Now, in terms of sport, that is our second event, represented by B, we have 15 students play a sport. So, number of occurrence, that is 15 over the number of sample space, which is 30. Therefore, the probability that the students play a sport is 15 over 30. Now, let's solve for number 3. Now, we know that we have 8 students in band, 15 students in sports, 5 in both, and the total sample space is 30. Next, we have now the probability of the union of A and B. Saan nanggaling yung 8 over 30 at saka 15 over 30? Nanggaling siya dun sa sagot natin sa A and B. Remember, sagot natin sa 1 and 2. So, number 1, ang sagot natin ay 8 over 30. Yun yung mga nasa band. Number 2, ang sagot natin 15 over 30. Yun yung mga nasa sport. So, doon nanggaling yung 8 over 30 plus 15 over 30. Now, next, nasan galing yung 5 over 30? Remember that in our working equation, we need to get the probability of the intersection of the two events. Correct? So, both 5 students are in both band and sport. So, take note of the word both. Ano ibig sabihin ng intersection? So, ibig sabihin, ang probability nun is 5 over 30. Okay? Now, 8 plus 15, that is 23, minus 5, that is 18. Therefore, the probability of the union of the two events is equal to 18 over 30. Now, simplifying this, we have now 3 over 5. Therefore, the probability that a student is in band or plays a sport or both is 3 over 5. Now, we still have another condition. We have to illustrate this using Venn diagram. Okay? Now, how do we illustrate this using Venn diagram? Now, if you will be adding the union of the two, 8 plus 15 minus 5, that is just 18. But our total sample space is 30. So, ibig sabihin, meron tayong estudyante na nawawala. So, ibig sabihin, sila yung mga estudyante na hindi sumali sa band, hindi rin sumali sa sports. Okay? Now, for us to illustrate those students, we will be starting our illustration using rectangle. Okay? The rectangle will show us the total number of the sample space. Now, next. Now, let's illustrate band and sports using circles. Okay? So, this is for band and this is for sports. Now, next, remember that when illustrating in Venn diagram, you always begin at the intersection. Okay? So, ilang estudyante ang kasali pareho sa band and sport? Ilan? So, 5. So, out of 5, okay, analyzing it again, dun na tayo kung ilan lang talaga ang nakasali sa band. Ilan lang ang nasa band. Ilan lang ang nasa sports. Kung 5 doon, ay kasali sa pareho. Okay? So, starting with 5, kung 5 na doon sa 8, ay kasali sa pareho, ilan pa yung matitira sa band? So, may 8 tayo, di ba? 8 sa band. Kaso 5 doon, nasa sports din. So, ibig sabihin, ang matitira na lang sa band ay 3. Next. In terms of sports naman, may 15 na students na gusto ang sports. Kaso, yung 5 doon sa 15, gusto din ang nasa band. Okay? So, 15 minus 5, that is 10. Okay? Now, for the remaining 12 students, because 3 plus 5 plus 10, that is only 18. So, may natitira pa tayong 30 minus 18, that is 12. Eto siya. Nasa labas na siya ng ating illustration ng set A and set B, or event A and event B. Okay? So, this is the correct illustration of the second problem. Next. How about answering the problem using the Venn diagram itself? So, second method naman tayo. Paano kukunin ang probability ng student na nasa band o kaya nasa sport o kaya nasa pareho? Okay? So, using the Venn diagram, all you have to do is to observe the first event and the second event. And then, anong gagawin mo? Add mo lang, tapos the number of ways the event can occur divided by the number of possible outcomes. So, that is simply 3 plus 5 plus 10. And 3 plus 5 plus 10, that is equal to 18. 18 over 30 is 3 over 5. Therefore, the probability that a student is in band or plays a sport or both is 3 over 5. So, this is another way on how we solve example number 2 using the illustration using a Venn diagram. And with that, your turn. You will be answering instructional support page 18. Do not forget to write down your name, your section, grade and section, the date you answered the module, and the week number, which is week 7, day 1. Okay? Now, for A, solve the following problem and refer to the Venn diagram below the given. So, this is the given. Answer letter A, B, C, D, and E. So, for A, B, C, and D, solution is not needed. Now, let's discuss the third example. So, the extracurricular activities in which the junior class of Padapado National High School participate are shown in the Venn diagram below. So, we have 3 events. We have drama, band, and athletics, in which 67 of these do not participated in the 3 events. Okay? Now, given the Venn diagram, let's answer the question, how many students are in the junior class? So, anong gagawin mo dito to get the total number of sample space? Simple lang. Start with the circle of the drama. So, ito yung illustration ng drama. Meron kang 38, 30, 10, and 4. So, add mo lahat yon. And then, for the band, meron ka pang 51 at saka 8 na natitira. Add mo din yon. And then, sa athletics, may 137 ka. And then, do not forget to add 67. These are the students who did not participate any of the events. Okay? So, adding 38 plus 30 plus 10 plus 4 plus 51 plus 8 plus 137 plus 67, that is a total of 345. So, the total number of students in the junior class is 345, which means when you get the probability, your denominator will always be 345. Now, next, how many students participate in athletics? Now, look at the illustration. Athletics ang hanap natin. Ito ba 137 lang? Hindi. Because we are dealing with the students participate in athletics. Remember that this 4 also participates in athletics, so counted pa rin sila. This 10 also participates in athletics, so counted pa rin sila. 8 students also participated in athletics, so counted pa rin sila. For you to get the number of students who participated in athletics, add mo itong buong circle or buong illustration ng athletics, which is 4 plus 10 plus 8 plus 137, which is equal to 159. Okay? Next, number 3. If a student is randomly chosen, what is the probability that the student participates in drama or athletics? Again, let me read number 3. If a student is randomly chosen, what is the probability that the student participates in athletics or drama? Now, take note of the word or. In probability, we're dealing with the union. So, ibig sabihin, pagsamahin mo yung athletics at saka yung drama. Now, remember that in our previous example, sabi niya, how many students participate in athletics? Meron tayong 159. So, ituloy lang natin yon. Okay? Now, tapos na tayo sa athletics, that is 159. And ilan naman yung nasa drama pa? Remember that 4 and 10 are intersections, therefore, they can only be listed once. So, ibig sabihin, hindi na natin sila isasali kapag binilang na natin yung sa drama. Okay? Now, next, if that's the case, then, 159 plus 38 plus 30, that is equal to 227. Therefore, the probability that the student participates in athletics or drama is 227 over 345. Fourth question, if a student is randomly chosen, what is the probability that the student participates only in drama and band? Now, take note of the word only. So, ibig sabihin, using the Venn diagram, hanapin mo lang yung bilang ng estudyante na kung saan ang sinalihan lang niya ay drama at band. Okay? Ulitin natin, probability ng estudyante na sumali lamang sa drama at band. Okay? Take note of the word N. N means intersection. So, ibig sabihin, dito ka sa gitna, tumitingin. Okay? Nasaan nakapwesto ang drama and band? Ito ang drama, ito yung band. Saan sila nagkita? At this intersection. Okay? So, ang bilang ng estudyante na kasali o nag-participate sa drama and band ay 30. Now, what is the probability of that? The probability of that is 30 over 345. Next. Your turn. You will be answering instructional support page 19, number 2. So, the Venn diagram on the right shows the grade 7 students who were surveyed about the fruits they like. Banana, apple, and orange. You have to find how many students like banana only. Take note of the word only. Apple only. Orange only. Banana and apple. All fruits. And then, what is the probability that the student will choose orange only? The probability that the students will choose banana only. And the probability that the student will choose banana or apple. Again, in this part of our exercise, complete solution is not needed. Your turn, you will be answering instructional support page 19. Number 2. So, the Venn diagram on the right shows the grade 7 students who were surveyed about the fruits they like. Banana, apple, and orange. You have to solve for A, B, C, and D. And for this problem, solution is not needed. Next. For letter B, show me. Determine the following probabilities of the events. Using the Venn diagram, illustrate the given situations on the provided box. Again, for letter B, you have to get the probability of the given events, and then you have to illustrate these events using Venn diagram. That is on instructional support pages 19 to 20. Now, that is the end of day 1. For day 2, you will be answering performance task number. For STE, this is performance task number 5. For malikhain, matatag, magiliw, and matapang, this is performance task number 4. So, performances number 4 is all about letter C, challenge problems, which can be found on instructional support pages, should I say page correction, wala dapat test, page 20. So, solve the following problems. You have to show the complete solutions if you would like to maximize the maximum point.